This agenda item is in regard to the coordination of work between the CCPR and CCRVDF. It is a group of works, simple works, and EWG works with TOR. Quickly, this content of the slides is condensed, but I needed to show complete information, but we will present it simply and quickly. It started in 20 in CCRVDF 21.
أين كان إنه هناك يعني
There was advice
في دورتها
by the CC Executive Committee 81 on a mechanism for cooperation between the CCPR and CCRVDF.
لازم يكون في طريقة
There should be a mean
تنسيق العمل بين CCPR
to coordinate work between CCPR and CCRVDF, based on which the work and committees and a teamwork was convened, and the EWG was convened to advance the work on cross-sectional issues. Then encouraging this coordination, then CAC 44, where EWG chaired by USA was adopted, and it was open to members of JACFA and GMPR, the scientific arm of CCPR. Back then, there were CAC 44, 4 main tasks: to review work already done cooperatively between CCPR and CCRVDF, and to prioritize areas of potential further collaboration between them, and on the other hand, to see the pesticides of the double uses and the attempts to harmonize the MRLs of residues of these pesticides. At the same time, they are agricultural pesticides and pesticides used in livestock health. And these are reflections on the collaboration between the two entities, the managers. Next slide. In the CAC 46, there were prior experiences. In CAC 46, there were determination of tasks of such working group. First, to continue sharing by USA, then the validation of the topics. 2, to develop a list of compounds with dual uses as a pesticide and veterinary drug, for which no or only one codex MRL has been established. And TOR 3 identify dual use compounds that have different codex MRLs for similar edible commodity of animal origin. We are talking always about harmonization. We delved into what we are going to apply for the dual use compounds. We proposed to apply the higher MRL value, and TOR4 to consider the matter related to harmonized food descriptors to be used by JACFA and GMPR.
Next slide, please. CAC 47.
After that, CAC 47. We know in the workflow, we have two CCPR and CCRVDF. Then CC Exact was informed, then the CAC, the same topics
في الكاك 47 تم
CAC
دراسة
47
يعني ما إذا هناك يعني فرصة
it was
لعمل virtual session between
discussed
CCPR
to
and
have a virtual
CCRVDF
session
اللي هو
between CCPR
very
and
interesting thing.
CCRVDF,
وهو بيكون أول
which is
first
very interesting
arrangement
thing,
was made
and it
and
is
might
the
be
first
used in the
arrangement
future
that
to
was
address
made
common
may
issues
be used in
involving
the future
different
to address
codex
common
committees. يعني
issues
أول بادرة هذه ب two
involving
committees.
different issues.
السلايد اللي بعدها لو سمحتم.
Next,
ليش؟ لأنه في وقت من الأوقات بعدين راح يقول
in
إنه
a
يعني
time
مثل ما لاحظتوا يعني في CCPR
in the
يجيبوا
CCPR,
توصيات لازم يوصلوها
there are
بميكانيزم
recommendations.
معين
They
للسي سي ار
need
في دي
to
اف
connect them
وينجكشن.
to
طبعا
mechanisms and
الوركينج جروب لازم يحيط عليه
CCPRVDF.
ولازم
The
يعلم
inject
عن
in the working group shall be
السي سي بي
informed,
ار ولازم يعلم السي سي ار في دي اف. واحنا نعرف انه
and the
هو
CCRVDF shall be
الاثنين
informed.
كل سنه
We know
يجتمعوا يعني
that both of them
هذا اللي لاحظ.
every year
لكن
they
في كل
meet,
حالات وقع او
but
انه
in all cases
المعلومه ممكن تضيع او الميكانيزم يطول.
the
المهم
mechanism may be prolonged, but most importantly,
المجموعه الاي وركينج جروب
the
قامت
e-working group.
في 34 كودكس اما
There are
اي دي اي او
34
ام ار ال سموها هون ستاندرد
MDA or MRLs
were identified that
standards
differ for dual use
ratified
compounds
that
depending on whether
different
the
for dual-use
compound was
compounds
evaluated
depending on
as
whether the compound is
vigilant ولا
evaluated
pesticide. لانه
or
اي دي
pesticide.
ام لقاو انه في 34 كيس يعني ان
There
كان
are
ام ار ال ان كان اي
34
دي اي.
cases
وبعدين the joint
ADL or
working group is
MRL,
working
and
towards
the joint working
identifying
group is
a
working towards
harmonized
identifying
MRL.
a
هذا يعني
harmonized
ultimate goal.
MRL
هو احنا عاوزين مشروع هذا
value
يتحقق
where
يتم تحديد
differences
اريا
exist to
واللي هي
recommend
بيز
CCPR and
علميه. لانه
CCRVDF
مع الهارمونيزيشن احنا
based on
عندنا
scientific
قيمتين.
rules.
ورا
We have
القيمتين
two
طبعا
values.
دراسات
Behind the two values,
معناتها
several studies
معناتها ترايلز. سو
with
كيف نحن راح
trials.
نحدد
So
القيمه
how to
اللي
determine
تاخذ بعين
the
الاعتبار
value
البلانت
that take
كوموديتيز
into
والانيمال
consideration the
كوموديتيز.
plant commodities from animal
اوكي
commodities.
next slide please. ايضا تم تحديد انه في يعني هال 34 ام ار ال هذه لكن مقسمين
And
على
the
11 edible
34 MRLs,
commodities.
they are divided in 11
of them were
eligible commodities of
identified as
animal
being
origin,
cross-sectional
were
between the
identified
two
as
committees.
being cross-sectional between the two committees.
واثنين منهم عندهم
Two of the
harmonized
out of the
descriptors
11 food
نتاع
commodities
commodity.
already have harmonized
Four have
descriptors.
different
Four
descriptors
have
and
different
5
descriptors and 5 lack
ما فيش
descriptors.
توصيفات إلها. وبعدين the working group is working
Then the joint
towards
EWG is
proposing
working
harmonized
towards
descriptors
proposing harmonized descriptors
إضافة
for
إلى
the
harmonized
four,
MRLs
in
as it
addition
is in
to the
description
harmonized
of
descriptors
these commodities. Next
of
please.
these commodities.
طيب لقاو اكيد يعني في خلال اعمالهم لقاو هناك
Within 2
العديد من
years,
الصعوبات. التشالنج
there are
الاولاني
several challenges.
هو
The first
متعلق
challenge is in regard to
بالكونتريبيوشن والاستجابه
the
تاع الدول
contribution and the
الاعضاء
responses of the member
لهالاعمال
states
هالالكترونيك ورك
of
جروب.
these
وما
works
يتم
and
اصداره
EWG
عنها
works,
من
and what
رسائل
is
دوريه
issued
او
of the
يطلب داتا او
circular
يطلب معلومات
letters
الى اخره.
requesting data or information.
بعدين في التشالنج رقم
Then
2
in
اللي
chart
كنت
2,
نحكي فيه من شويه
challenge
لانه
2,
ريكومنديشن اللي مثلا
the,
يسووها في
uh,
الكاك او في الاي
because
كوميتي
recommendations are presented
تعرض
to each committee
بطريقه منفصله
separately
على السي سي بي ار وعلى السي سي ار في
to
دي اف.
CPR and
فانه يعني هذا ايضا
RCDVDF.
كان في حد
One
ذاته
committee may take changes
تشالنج. كاتبين هون انه
to recommendations
complex
or develop
issues.
new
This is
recommendations
likely to
without the
cause recommendations
benefit
to
of
be
hearing from
volleyed
their
between the two
colleagues in
committees
other
with little
committees
progress being made. انه
with
التقدم
little
يكون
progress
صعب لانه
being made
ميكانيزمات الدستور الغذائي يعني
because the
واضحه
mechanisms of
هي
the
ولكن
codex,
طويله وفيها عده
they are very
اعتبارات.
clear,
ف
but there
working
are several
in
considerations. So working
two axes is little
to
bit
access
challenging.
is a little
So
bit challenging.
it was difficult for the chair and the
It is
co-chairs to
difficult for
determine
the
whether
chair and the
consensus
co-chairs
has
to
been
determine
achieved
whether
and whether
consensus has
recommendations are
been
ready
achieved,
for
whether
presentation
recommendations are ready for
at the
presentation
CCPR and CCRVDF.
at the
لأنه
CPR and
لم يتم
RCCD,
يعني إنه
CPR,
إشباعها
RVDF.
بالنقاشات المزدوجة يعني نظرا
They
إنه
cannot be
السيشنز
fulfilled with the
يعني
double
محددة في
guidance
الوركينج جروب محدد وقته ويتم
in
إعادته
a
لكن
determined
محدد
time.
وقته
Working group
إنه ما فيش
with
connection
determined time.
direct between
There is
the
no
two
direct
committees.
connection
Next slide please.
between the two committees.
الآن بخصوص scheduling a virtual meeting
in regard to scheduling a virtual meeting of the joint EWG
الاثنين working group
between the two working
it will
groups.
increase active participation for members.
It will increase active participation from members. It will provide space for CCPR and CCRVDF delegations to discuss the issues affecting both committees and any suggestions to the draft recommendation, making the working group and output a true joint effort between CCPR and CCRVDF. This is the most mean to generate more robust and a lot of recommendations before presenting these recommendations on each committee, this or this. So here, in the very beginning, I mentioned, we said, no, we were talking about the virtual system, but before that, the ability to make virtual sessions between virtual EWGs here and here. Next, these are further discussions in the CCPR55. They indicated their continued support for the work of the joint EWG, endorsing and encouraging participation and so on, encourages CCPR delegations, and in regard to Codex Secretary, they mentioned beneficial to explore the feasibility of scheduling a virtual session, and this would allow final decisions to be made jointly by both committees, rather than the joint EWG presenting recommendations to each committee separately.
وطبعا assist in building الconsensus.
Definitely, it will assist in building consensus-based decision-making simultaneously for both committees.
I am sorry, maybe I should talk English because the interpretation, he is maybe facing challenges. I just apologize for that. Next slide, please. CCRVDF كان في سنة 2024 اللي فاتت نفس الشيء.
In 2024, the same. They ensured continued support for exploring the feasibility of scheduling a virtual session of the joint EWG. And then, now, in regard to the joint working group between CCPR and CCRVDF, they have been working since establishment. Now, we started to work. Last news about the working group. First, the definition of various compounds.
An approach to harmonized MRLs.
And an approach to harmonize MRLs.
To harmonize the food descriptors.
An approach to harmonize food descriptors. And as mentioned here,
as you see, there are two circular letters. One is related
there are two
to
circular
CCPR,
letters. One
number 48, and the other one is related to CCRVDF, especially that CCRVDF will take place end of this year, I think. So it's nice work between both of them, both of the committees, both of the electronic working groups. It's a very interesting example of the collaboration and the consensus between two Codex committees, and that can make the example for the future. I think we have one last slide in which what CCPR 56 is invited to. We are invited to indicate the continuous support, of course, to endorse same thing. As you can see, it's repeating the same thing with a little progress made by maybe they will present the output of the circular letter of circular letter 47, and this will be the new thing to present in CCPR 56, and we hope that we will be member, inshallah, in the future of this joint meeting between CCRVDF and CCPR for further enrichment of the كامل work on residues بصفة عامة. أشكر لكم انتباهكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.